Hi, this is Sporty King, the master of listening, and I'm excited to be one of the 2020 visionaries. We're six heart-centered thought leaders and influencers based in the greater Charlotte area, excited to deliver our pandemic perspectives to help you keep it together while we're in this together, experiencing it differently. Today, I'll be talking to fellow visionary Sherre DeMao. As we continue our series of the pandemic perspectives, it's time to go around again. All right, Sherre, how can people adjust? Okay, because it's the new normal is here. How can people adjust?
Well, I'm glad we're focusing on this next because in my first interview, I talked about hope
Uh-huh.
and I talked about that can-do spirit.
Uh-huh.
And I've heard some people say, I'm just I can't even find in my heart what to be optimistic about right now. So they're saying it just seems like we're in this mayhem, and what I was once passionate about, I'm not passionate
Okay.
anymore. So how can I put effort into something that I don't even know? I don't even know
Hmm.
what I think anymore. I don't even know how I feel anymore. And so it made me think about the work that I do with my entrepreneurial clients, and what I specialize in is
Okay.
helping them disrupt against being viewed as a commodity, or being beaten down on price, or just not really standing out in their marketplace and trying to figure out how they can stand out
Mm-hmm.
strategically.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are in a a paradigm of worldwide
Disruption.
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 We are
Yeah.
being disrupted upon.
Challenge. Yay.
Yes, we are being totally disrupted. Everyone around the globe is being disrupted.
Yes.
So what do you do when you're just being disrupted? Well, guess what? You disrupt. But you
Okay.
have to start from within. And so the way I approach it with my clients is definitely also the way that you can approach it within
Okay.
and within yourself. And again, another acronym, but it's a great way for people to really remember and understand. And it's time to shift. It is really how do I
Mm-hmm.
shift? How do I shift back to hope? How do I shift back to feeling like I can do something about the situation that I'm in? And the first two aspects of shift, the S and the H, are to see and to hear.
Okay.
You were talking about, in your interview, you were talking about the difference between listening and hearing.
Yeah.
And so what you start with, one of my favorite sayings, I've loved it since I was 13 years old, is
Oh, good 10 years now.
yeah, just a 10 year, is discovery is seeing what everyone is seeing, but thinking what no one else has thought. And to me, that is the description of a strategist. That is a description of somebody who's being strategic, is they're seeing what everyone else is seeing,
Mm-hmm.
but they're thinking differently than anybody else is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we are being bombarded or audibly with what we're hearing too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, and this happens whether you're being disrupted upon or whether you're trying to disrupt.
Mm-hmm.
You need to really be listening and hearing, because we know they're two different things.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be seeing what everyone is seeing. And then the I in shift is imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, instead of imagining the worst, imagine the best outcome that could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where your heart comes in. That's where your heart comes in, along with that optimism,
Mm-hmm.
is that you're seeing and hearing what everyone is seeing and hearing. And of course, we're hearing a lot of conflicting things all the time. We may all be seeing kind of the same things, but we're hearing a lot of conflicting things. So that's where we have to go within ourselves and say, okay, here's what I'm seeing, here's what I'm hearing.
And we have to be our own messenger.
And we have to be our own messenger
Okay.
from within about how we are going to react or respond to this in our own way of thinking and imagining.
Okay.
And so what I encourage is, okay, imagine the best possible outcome of this.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best? And don't censor yourself. Don't, oh, that's not possible. What did Audrey Hepburn say? Impossible. I'm possible is in the word impossible,
yes,
right?
I'm possible.
So just discard any doubt or any, oh, that's silly idea, and just what would be the best outcome? What could be the best outcome? Here's all the negativity, here's all the can't do's and stuck doing and all that stuff. Okay, what's the flip side of that? What's the opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
And so then once you start to see something bubble up, because something will, if you give yourself the credit and the permission to do this, something will bubble up.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what you focus on. That's the F and shift. So you see, you hear, you imagine the best possible outcome, and then you begin to focus on, okay, how can I make that possible?
Mm-hmm.
What are the steps that are needed? What do I need to learn? Then all of a sudden you have a reason to put some effort into it, right? Mm-hmm. And you get passionate about it because it's something positive. People can be a lot more productively passionate if it's positive.
PP, productively passionate.
Productively passionate. You're going to be much more productively passionate if it's a positive outcome versus a negative outcome.
Right.
And so through that focus, you are going to take steps to ultimately transform, and that's the T in shift. To transform. And I think what makes it exciting, when I work with entrepreneurial clients, we go through this shift process, the transformation isn't just internal with the company. The beautiful thing is when you look at the best possible outcome, the transformation touches so much more than just you and those initially. It's transformational on many, many levels. And that's what makes it so exciting.
You know, and I'm taking you back through your letters now.
Oh, okay. Please do. I wanted to get the overview. Of course, right. Of course, I would love to.
Because as I hear the first, how you group the first two, the S and the H,
yeah,
and so what I hear is, you know, be still, be quiet, and listen. Because you're getting like you said, there's a lot of information coming. So be quiet and listen so that you can discern which information is going to work for you, because you have to also shut off certain valves.
Yeah, because that seeing and hearing is you taking a moment to really process what's going on instead of being imposed upon by everything that's going on. There's a big difference there. And that's why I love that. You notice how I started whispering when you said
yes,
that.
Yes.
But
that's why I went.
But yeah, really. But really, it is about taking a moment to just process it in your own way. And it's amazing how you can see things differently and hear things differently when you take that moment to pause and really think about how it's impacting you.
Why is it so important to process it in your own way? Because you seem to stress that.
Because we can't control the world outside of us, but we can always control the world inside of us. And so by giving ourselves permission to process it in our own way, and what am I seeing? What am I really seeing? What am I hearing? What am I seeing that nobody else is seeing? What am I hearing that nobody else is really paying attention to? And what's the opportunity in what I'm seeing and hearing that could help others? Because it does come down to not just helping yourself, but helping others. We care, we're a human race.
Exactly. And it goes right to what we're doing with this series. We're all going through the same thing differently.
very differently.
And
Yeah.
so, I heard that in what you were saying, and I just wanted to make sure that we really bring that home for somebody else. Is that you talked about your clients who have, I don't know what I'm passionate about anymore. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, you've got to get it back.
Right.
Yeah,
And you can.
yeah,
You
right,
can. You
right.
totally can. And and it's okay to accept, I'm hearing a lot. I'm reevaluating. I'm
Hmm.
reevaluating what I want to do. I'm reevaluating the direction I want to take.
Hmm.
Uh, you know what I say? Good. Take
Right,
it from
right.
there.
That's great.
Yeah,
You
there's
got
nothing
options.
yeah. There, be open to all possible options, resources, and support.
Hmm.
Open. And then another grant, one of my lovely Granny P, don't feel guilty about making life easier for yourself. And that
Hmm.
goes back to something you said in a
Mm.
previous interview is, sometimes just shutting everything off. You don't have to listen to the news 24/7. Get the nuggets that you need to just know what's going on, but allow yourself to make life easier on yourself, which will de-stress you because you're not hearing this, and it also will allow you to process what you have heard
Hmm.
and what you have seen, because you're not constantly being bombarded by more and more and more and more. It gives you space to process and understand and see what others aren't seeing, and thinking what others aren't thinking, that could help us all, either collectively or individually, which is what we hope can be accomplished, right?
Yeah, and so that moves right into that imagination because, well, I wrote imagination, but you said imagine, right?
Imagine, right?
Right, and
Yeah,
so
right,
yeah,
right. But you're using your imagination to imagine.
yeah,
Absolutely,
and
absolutely.
then now reimagine you as a success. If you can say I've lost my passion, well, therefore that means you can imagine what it's like to have your passion back.
Right,
So
right,
get back to that.
right. And well, and going back to, okay, something that you were passionate about that you're no longer passionate about because it just doesn't seem, whether it doesn't seem relevant anymore,
Hmm.
uh, I say go back again into your core values. What do you value more than anything in how you are, who you are, how you treat others?
Hmm.
There's passion in there. There's passion that is just simmering and just, screaming to get out. And that particular passion may be exactly what helps you imagine a solution that nobody else thought. I mean, one of the things I enjoy seeing is the solutions that are happening out
Yes.
there.
Yes.
People taking everyday things and turning them into mass or whatever it might be to help people. And I think that's again seeing, hearing. Oh, well, wait, I can do this, and you're helping yourself, but you're helping others at the same time. And how empowering it is, because we all know that when we're helping others, we have less time to get bogged down in the things that are upsetting us.
Yeah, and and you can see why I zip to imagination. Let me put this little tip in there. Um, as I, you some of the things that you do to get yourself back on track. For instance, while I'm at home, I particularly chose to wear this shirt today. Okay, this shirt actually reminds me of, uh, um, rest in peace, of one of my cousins,
Oh, yeah,
who was a general assistant general manager for Memphis Grizzlies. But here's the deal. I'm imagining the success that I had through him. And so I'm wearing him today
yes, absolutely.
as a
Yeah.
way of keeping me up. So those are the, fine little things. Don't look for rocket science, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
actually started April 1st, and I'm going to do it the whole month. I
Okay.
posted an inspiration from my home. And I have all these inspirational sayings and everything. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to share these from my home to somebody else's home, because we have all these nuggets of things we've saved or we have placed in such a perfect way that creates this wonderful memory. And if we can just invite ourselves to enjoy our space all over again, because, oh, I remember when I got that, or
Right.
oh my gosh, that picture, I remember when we took that picture. and
Right.
and, and you really start to appreciate what you have,
Yeah.
and in and of that self, that will help you get into a more positive state of mind, so you can imagine possibilities in a more positive way,
Sure.
and then enable you to focus. So going back to that focus is, once you have that nugget of passion or that nugget of of an idea or a possible way to approach something differently, then what do you need to learn? What do you need to know? Who could possibly give you insight? Then all of a sudden you have a whole checklist of things you can do because you are now on this journey towards a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then the outcome of that possibility is some type of transformation for yourself, for others. It's that shift that was necessary to get you from where you didn't want to be to where you didn't realize you could easily be.
And that rolls us right into that T for taking a step, which I also saw as a testimony.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get a testimony without the first four letters with your test.
Yeah.
So you're going to make mistakes along this way as
Right,
you
right.
shift. You're going to still make some text. But I love how your T also, see, take a step. It means you have to do something.
Oh, you do. And that gets at the, going back to the hope I talked about in the first interview, the E and F, the E in hope is effort. And so when I was hearing people saying, well, I'm just feeling so hopeless now, I can't even put my heart into anything. And that's when I go, okay, well, let me talk to you about shift.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
let me help you shift.
Right. This doesn't work for you? Okay. Let's try something else. Yeah.
So you can find that hope again through something that is like, wow, oh, wow, we could do this. Or, oh, I never thought of it that way. Wow.
Well, I hope you have a good closing statement ready for us.
Well, I think again, I have to go back to the saying, we can't control the world outside of us, but we can always control the world inside of us. And so the one thing that we can do for everyone is to allow ourselves the time and the space to process in the way that we need to process all of this, but to also empower ourselves in a way that we can empower ourselves to get through this and help others through it at the same time.
Thanks so much. And I also like how we're moving out from this interview with the word through,
Yes.
Because that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We will get through.
We so will.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sporty.
So let's stay calm and make sure that we consider the true options that we do have, because these are opportunities that we have for change, which is something that we're actually much better at than we think we are. Please continue to follow and share us, the 2020 Visionaries, with our pandemic perspectives. You'll find us on LinkedIn, YouTube. Where else are we, Sherre?
Facebook.
And Facebook. Okay, so we're spreading out. We're doing some things to change, and we would love to hear how you like to see us attack certain topics that may be of some help to you, so that we can be there for you. Thanks so much, and God bless you.
Thank you.